Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Listen, so we've all heard by now about the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner and his widow Tanisha. The saga regarding the trust, and she definitely has a problem. Oh, I'm afraid she has a major, major, major problem. This right here, I think it reeks of panic and desperation and fear, and also the painful reality which a lot of women face. Which I'm really surprised at him. I would think he'd have things together um, of finding out what was really going on in the marriage, thinking that your husband has protected you financially, that you don't have to worry, thinking that. And then, can you imagine upon his passing? A lot of women talk about it, realizing it wasn't what you thought. And here's the deal about it, initially I thought, hey, they've got life insurance, double indemnity, a drowning accident, gonna be fine. And then to learn that there was no life insurance. But here's my thing about that. This was all she said stated during the prenup: $16,000 every anniversary, $5,000 a month for his chief of staff, and life insurance policy of $1 million, and he would to keep that up. Listen, I find it hard to believe that in Hollywood that he would not have life insurance. I find it very hard to believe. It's rather shocking. But the other thing that does hit my mind is he could have had a life insurance policy, okay? Yes, he could have had a life insurance policy. However, he could have already had a policy. Don't forget, the family trust, the Warner family trust was established in 1996. 1996, when he was 26 years old. So he could have had a life insurance policy. However, the policy beneficiary could be the trust. The policy beneficiary could be the trust. What I want to know is, what money did he leave her? Because the mother is saying, hey, she's experienced now how greedy a person can be. Wonder who that is, who she's referring to. I think it's obvious it would be the widow. So understand this. She thought she was protected, and now you're realizing maybe you weren't protected as much as you thought. I doubt he left her penniless, but it's been a whole year. So you've had a whole year of living expenses with the mortgage, the insurance, food, utilities, the whole 9 yards, cars, everything, school, a whole year of that. So I'm thinking there has to be some money somewhere. But here's the issue. With that premarital prenup that they had, that agreement, I'm trying to understand. I'm not an attorney, not giving legal advice. It's my opinion. I have to say that. I'm not an attorney. How are you going to try to hold an account responsible for a prenuptial agreement from your husband? The other thing is, you all have a 9-year-old daughter. You were married since May 2022. I'm not understanding why those issues were not handled then. The first year of the anniversary, $16,000. You never did get it. Why not? Or was living made so comfortable that you had everything that you needed, you didn't think about those things? You see, everything was going just fine. You didn't have any financial problems, so you didn't worry about, oh, my account is fine, no worries. The Roth IRA. But now that he's gone, you're realizing, he was the breadwinner. Now that he's gone, you need those things. So I'm kind of wondering, with the family trust, how are you going to hold that trust? Your name isn't on it. And some people say, hey, the mother just should have given her the money. We don't know what kind of money he left her in this checking account, savings account. We don't know. But she's saying, hey, 1.2 million. So that kind of makes me think that, okay, is it been a year of his death? Has she run through the money? And is she looking at, down the line, there's no more money coming in. What I have to make this last. That's what I'm wondering. And even the look here, it's less glamorous. She could be in her mourning stage. Papa waking up, still can't believe that he's gone. Could be in her mourning stage. Or could be in the lawyer stage. You don't want to look too fancy to get sympathy. And it's hard. Some people say, oh, well, the mom should have given her the $1.2 million. And here's the thing about that. Again, it's going to be, at this point, I think the family relationship dynamics, especially having a granddaughter, is really strained. Like, oh yeah, you bet. And it's like, think about it. If she were to give her the $1.2 million, would that be it? Or would that open up the door to, hey, how much is really in that trust? Some people are speculating that his net worth was $6 million. I don't know. But ask yourself a question. Now, the last thing I saw him act in was Sneaky Pete. He was an investigator, I believe, or parole investigator. Was he parolee or something? Like you put the parole. That person, he played that in Sneaky Pete, which I really, really liked that show. It was crazy, man. So in Sneaky Pete, and he did a good job, of course, professional actor. My question is, where are the royalties from the acting career? Where is that money going? Is it going into his personal account, which of course I'm assuming go to her, or is it going to the trust? Where's her life insurance? Maybe there wasn't a life insurance, clearly not making her the beneficiary, but there could be life insurance. Well, family trust is the beneficiary. Sometimes that's one thing people about wealth know how to do is to preserve it. That's why I'm like, hell, that life insurance, I kind of find that hard to believe. It could have been, though, that he had life insurance, but it could have been where the beneficiary was the family trust. It could have been, well, all the money is going to the family trust. Her name is not on that trust. Again, it was established in 1996. They got married, 2022? So, yeah, this right here. So it's going to be interesting to see in the different kind of trust, living trust, revocable trust, irrevocable trust. It's going to be interesting to kind of see, whether he had a revocable trust or a revocable trust or an irrevocable trust. It's going to be interesting to see. And that's going to, it's like, wow, you're going to be putting the trust on display. And we know what that's going to be about in the discovery, trying to put all the assets from that family trust on blast. Mm-hmm. That's what it'll do in the discovery process. Try to put it all on blast. Okay, he had this, he had that. But it's going to be interesting to see how, like I said, first it hit my mind, you give a person, I was telling a friend of mine, you give a person, let's say $1.2 million. Is that going to be the end? Because then they're going to want to know, well, how much is in the trust? And then let's say when that money's gone, just speaking in general, not accusing anyone, that money's gone. Well, the trust got $6 million left. Oh, the trust, don't forget interest, compound interest. Are you kidding? A trust from 1996. A trust been in effect for 30 years. He was acting in the Cosby Show as a teen, died at 54. A trust from 1996. You already know compound interest has to be their best friend. So yeah, that'll bring all things out. And I thought about it, I said, wow, that could be the issue. Before you know it, the person wants this, the person wants that. And then, you give the money, let's say $1.2 million. If the person comes back and says, hey, you know what? I've had some other incidentals. I need this for the kid for college. And they keep coming to the trust to dip back into it. Hate to tell you, unless you got something in writing that's the final payment and that's it, do not be surprised if people in general, you give them money from a trust, do not be surprised the next thing you know, what happens? They come back. And then if you say no, guess what? You might find yourself getting sued anyway. But the fact that she's saying she's been dealing with this for a year and she's been communicating with the mother saying he would want us to be taken care of, you're basically, in my opinion, you're asking the mom, hey, I need you to take care of us via that trust. You're asking the mother to basically, hey, use that trust to take care of us. And then she said that, hey, that he was gonna put her name on it. I find it very hard to believe that his mother would remove her name from that trust. I find that very, very, very hard to believe. And more than likely, she may know the details of the amount of the money that's in that trust. She may know that. So yeah, I'm starting to wonder if the bulk of his money went into that family trust, and that could be a way to protect your asset in case a divorce happens. So yeah, she's learning that she wasn't protected in the manner that she thought, but I have to also ask, you're acting as a chief of staff, I have to also ask during that time frame, why didn't you get the paperwork together? That's what I got to ask. Why did you not get that paperwork together during the time frame? That's the part I'm not understanding. unless life was so comfortable, you didn't think it was, it was really a necessity. He's providing for you, I'm assuming. But now with him being gone, again, if that money's in a trust, the compound interest, a trust for 30 years of money in it, the compound interest, come on, ladies and gentlemen, you know how that works. If not, go check it out. You'll be rolling in dough. Compound interest. So yeah, this right here, she has a major, major problem. You're trying to get the money out of the trust. Like I said, first thing hit my mind, he could have had a life insurance policy already, but the beneficiary could be the Warner Family Trust. So what do you all think? Should the mom have given her the money? Um, will it be, I guess, if, with a court matter, it may be disclosed how much he did leave her. The mom hinted at, hey, she's experienced how a person can be greedy. So what are we looking at? Is Malcolm Jamal Warner widow? Is she sitting on $2 or $3 million? You know, the residuals, the royalties from acting. Where is that? And listen, sometimes the royalties from acting, it depends. Sometimes the checks are not as big as you think. Sometimes it's a joke. It's like, really, really. So yeah, so I think definitely have a major, 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 major problem here. It's going to get ugly, but she's learning that she wasn't protected in the manner that she thought. And like I said, I think maybe life was just comfortable, that maybe that's why she didn't really, what was in a prenup, she didn't really push for it. Because my thing is, you were married in 2022. I don't know how long was it going to take? The older you get, the more expensive life insurance is going to be. Like I said, I find it hard to believe he's in Hollywood without having a life insurance policy. That is just very, very shocking to me. But this here is going to be interesting. I think the family dynamics between the widow, the mother, and the granddaughter might be caught in between. Because, yeah, I think it's going to get really, really ugly. But women have to handle their business. But it's going to be very interesting to see. It's going to bring out the details of the trust, how much money's in there. What if the widow has like, oh, left me with $2 million, $3 million? What if the trust has $13 million? So yeah, do you think the mom is wrong? Do you think, hey, the widow, she dropped the ball? She should have handled her business. Life is business, and so is marriage. And if you look at it, the fact they even had that prenup discussion and had it drawn up, they said it's attached in the court filings. The fact that that's there, again, it lets you know these women are coming to these marriages with these men, especially in this community. They're coming in with paper. They're coming in with paper, putting the money on paper. So when you find women in our community, not marrying a superstar or anybody, but just when you see that, you have to understand what these men are putting up with. So when you find someone and you're trying to look out for your financial interests, I don't see why the hell not. Because especially getting a divorce, and then you add children in the mix, a woman's lifestyle, you're pretty much starting over. But the man, he just keeps on going up that corporate or business ladder or whatever he's doing. There's no interference. But women, you're giving of yourself as a spouse, as a mom. Work, work, work. That's why I said going to a job 50-50 and having kids. I don't know. You can keep that deal, honey. I never was going for that. I'm going 50, so working a full-time job, 50-50 on the bills, and then come home. What do you see women doing? Now I gotta clean. Now you're up here cooking. Now you're cleaning up the kitchen. Now you're worried about the kids and the homework. The work never ends. So yeah, look how when it comes to these men, they're coming in with contracts, you think? And you can be in my community and just ask, well, what does he do for a living? What about a job and all that? All of a sudden, oh, you're supposed to be setting yourself up for the struggle of, you must be a gold digger, definitely not a dust digger. No, you should see it as, no, I'm concerned about me and my health and my well-being, that I don't want to be a person that destroys my peace or sitting up here working like a mule. Not going to be muling for some man. So yeah, I need to kind of maybe get some clarification before going into it. Don't find yourself muling for a man. It's just not worth it. Anyway, so should the mom pay the $1.2 million? Would you have paid it? Even if she would have, do you think the wife would have then be coming back for more? Did she drop the ball on herself as an individual by not making sure those things were in place? Again, in the prenuptial agreement. Then what happened during the marriage? You couldn't get these things taken care of. So yeah, let me know what you all think. This is going to be very interesting, and I think for the family, it's going to be somewhat painful. I think it really is. So let me know what you all think. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. And I'm out.